Hi guys, today's case is another really neat case. It's a single arch case. We're using TADS. As always with these things, right, it's all about the planning. So here you go, hope you enjoy it. Alright guys, so for today's case, it's a single arch case. Let's quickly just show you the before and after photos for it. Okay, so this is where we started and this is how it all finished. Single arch only case, so we didn't do anything at the bottom, and it took about a year. So let me explain all the pre-ops and our thinking behind it all. Here's a pre-ops, right? The right side buccal segment, we can see the canines are half unit class 2, and we've got this lovely little space up here. The molars are a little bit class 3. And the important thing to notice here is the incisor inclination. They're not too proclined, they're not retroclined, they're about right. So we don't want to rely on rounding out, which will just tip these teeth forward, as you'll see in a minute. On the other side, we've got a similar, a half unit class 2 canine relationship, and molars are almost in class 1 there. We've got this 4, which has got a big old filling. It's been restored. So a similar crowding. It's the laterals that she doesn't like, and the incisors, even from this angle, you can see are pretty much in a good position. And the upper occlusal, you can see that the crowding is mainly at the front here. We can see this space in a little bit more detail. And I'd estimate the crowding to be maybe around 4 millimeters. You can almost imagine if you just put a brace on here and you relied on IPR, you'd need quite a lot of IPR because you don't want to move the position of these teeth. You actually want to bring in these laterals, bring in this incisor to get that most ideal outcome, because otherwise what happens is everything else will procline out. So my plan here was actually we need to bring back the premolars and the canines on both sides really. We need to get these canines back a little bit so that we've got space to straighten up these laterals in this anterior segment. On the right side we've got this space, but it is really, it's in an awkward position, and what tends to happen is as soon as you start pulling against the molars will come forward to close this space up, so you actually get very little premolars and canines moving back. On the other side we've got no space at all. We have got this tooth which has been an ongoing problem, and it's the only tooth which is filled. So what we decided to do was actually remove this tooth to pull the canine back. So that's really easy. On the left side we know we've got the space. On the right side we have the space, it's in the wrong place, and we're going to have to do something extra to stop these teeth moving forward. So if we skip forward about a month or something, we can see a month after the bond up. This is her original date she came in, and then a month after bond up and extraction as well. So let's have a look. This is the right side. So this photo is a bit deceptive because it looks like, oh, the canines are almost going into class 1 occlusion, and so the premolars. This angle of this photo is taken deceptively. It's not the same as the previous one, so the canines are still half unit class 2, but what I wanted to show you is actually what's going on up here. So we've got this TAD in position, so this is an area which is going to give us direct anchorage. So because it's stuck into the bone, this isn't going to move forward as we pull these teeth backwards. And how we're linking it is we've got this piece of wire connecting it to the bracket on the 6 to help hold this 6 back while we pull these guys back. To help with anchorage as well, you can see that I've bonded up the 7, and the power chain excuse me, the power chain actually goes from the 7 to the 4, I think in this case. And how I've ligated these guys is just with a loose quick leg on there, so that there's no sort of resistance to friction on here, and the power chain is going underneath the wire, then these are ligated over the top. On the other side you can see again we've bonded up to the 7 to increase our anchorage, and we've got the power chain just tickling this 3 back. Already you can see that we've got spaces here mesial to the 2, so we've relieved the crowding. Well, kind of. We've straightened them out, but as I'll show you, we've actually proclined the whole anterior segment even at this stage. So you can see here how proclined these centrals are. Because of the angulation of the laterals, they really tip these centrals forward. So if we had done this as a non-extraction case, this is the problem that we would have encountered from day one. And the patient hated this look. She hated this part of treatment with gaps and teeth sticking forward. Okay, so now if we skip forward a couple of months, this is February 2016, and you can see that the premolars have, well, this space has closed, all right, and it's a combination of these guys coming forward and the premolars coming back a little bit. You can see the rotation on the premolars. We've closed out the space on the canine, and what we've done is use a long lig to link together all the way from the 7 to the lateral here. And a similar kind of thing on the other side. We've got here, the long tie stops here, and then we've got all this spacing anteriorly, so we've got power chain from here to here just to close up this spacing and try and tip all these teeth back. You can see the power chain on here, power chain's on underneath the wire, and you can see that the right side buccal segment, so the premolars look like they've come back a little bit, but it's more of a rotation on their side. You know, they've rotated back a little bit to come into a bit more of a class 1 kind of occlusion, but the canine still looks pretty much half a unit class 2. And this is near the end of treatment. We've just got the same mechanics, just tipping everything back. And this is the end of treatment, so debond. So here, you know, it looks okay. The canine may have moved back a fraction, but nothing significant. The molar, the tip used to be a little bit class 3, and that has still come forward, even though we had a TAD anchoring it onto the tooth, you know, to stop it from coming forward. We still got a little bit of the molars coming forward. On the left side, yeah, you know, it's a much better class 1 occlusion here. The gap's completely closed up, and the buccal segment's pretty much as we would have expected it. And to finish it off, we've just got a retainer, 2-2 plus removable retainers for life. Right, so I just want to compare the before and after photos, especially on the right side where we use the TAD. And you can see that here, what we've got, the mesial cusp of the upper 6 is a little bit distal to the mid-buccal groove here. So we're a little bit class 3 here, but we look at the mid-buccal groove here and we look at the mesial cusp, and it's actually moved forward maybe half a unit. So we have lost anchorage on this 6. We didn't want this 6 to come forward, but it has. It's closed that space really quickly. That's not to say we haven't had any movement in the buccal segment, because you can see that the tip of the premolar here is a little bit distal than the tip of the lower premolar, and here we were almost like edge to edge. So those two teeth have moved forward, but the canines are just half a unit class 2 still. It looks like they might have, this canine may have moved back a little bit. The new position of this canine is probably there, but nothing, you know, nothing too dramatic. Luckily in this case, we only needed a little bit of room to straighten this tooth out without proclining the incisors. So you can see that the inclination of the incisors is pretty much the same, even though we've had very little distal movement on the canine. Now, if this was a problem, if we wanted to retract this segment even further, we would have an option. We could maybe put a TAD here and then from the canine just pull back directly against the TAD. Or we could have used some other kind of mechanics to do this, but it becomes a lot more difficult now that this space is closed up. Even before we started, let me just show you another way that we could have held the 6s back, and in retrospect this would probably been a better kind of way. So this is a picture that I've just picked up from Google, and it's basically a Nance appliance. So you can see it holds the 6s in this position, but it's using the hard palate to resist anterior movement of these 6s. So that, remember, that's what we really wanted to do. We wanted to hold the 6s back as much as possible. So this appliance holds up against the palate, and in retrospect I think this would have probably given me a better result, held the 6s back better and allowed me to pull the premolars back in a more reliable way. Cool, so I hope you got something out of it. I hope you learned something new. If you got any questions, comments, please contact me via Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. Remember to like the video and share it with your friends. It just helps more people see it. And if you want to get all the high resolution images and all of that, just sign up to my Facebook page where I'll just put links direct to my blog where you can see all those images. See you later.